Hello, la la la. This is Holland220 with my first installment of Banished, which is a sandbox game very similar to 1602 AD, which was a survival game that came out ages ago. I used to play as a kid, and with a lot of elements that you'd be familiar with SimCity and the Sim franchise. Basically, I bought this game yesterday, and I dumped about, I don't know, probably like 6 hours, whatever, playing on I play a lot on 2 speed. So, we're not too far into the game, but basically, we're going to start off in Grillotown, which, named after my girlfriend, love you, Carrie, is already a somewhat substantial settlement. I'll kind of just give you a run through of what the town was like. So basically, this was the heart of my town. My cart was right here originally, and I built this, kind of nice little towny area. And the second kind of thing I did was build things for food. So a fisherman's hut, gatherer, and there's a couple more houses out in the woods. But basically, I'm making this video with a little bit more of an advanced gameplay in mind, because a lot of people, start the videos from the beginning and give you kind of like an experience from the beginning of a town, but I kind of wanted to just jump ahead to a somewhat already thriving town that has a lot of your basic structures already built. So I started on hard, valleys, and a medium-sized landscape. I didn't go for the large. I kind of want to run out of room eventually, kind of run into that problem. But as you can see, we kind of already have a decent settlement going with enough food and tools, and a lot of your basic needs are taken care of. So, I mean, I already have a fishing dock. I had to build a second one because I was running into some food problems. I already have a schoolhouse. I already have a woodcutter. I have my tailor. I have a blacksmith. I have an herbalist. I have a gatherer's hut. I have a forester's lodge. And I have a hunting cabin. So this is, like I said, this is the heart of Grillotown. Sizable stockpile. And I actually already have 3 stone houses, with a couple people living in each. Now I have a lot of houses, so a lot of the houses only have a few inhabitants. Well, no, I guess kind of a lot of them have a lot of people in there. I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah. Basically, I already have my trading post set up, and what I've noticed is that my trader, he comes once a year in late autumn. So, that's kind of something you want to keep in mind, is that the trader basically comes around the same time every year. There's only one trader so far, and he always has some food and seeds. So a big thing I did was because I have no farmland. When you start off on hard, you start off with no seeds. I kind of focused on industry, and I already had, like I said, I already had basically all your basic industry sectors set up: wood, medicine, food, and then tools, and a tailor to make hide coat. And as time went by, I noticed I wasn't really creating enough of a surplus of things to be able to get seeds. So my first trading agenda was to get seeds so I can start farming. So food can really just be like a non-factor. That's kind of what I'm aiming for right now. This way I can focus again on industry. But when the trader comes, this will have what he has, and this is what you have in the trading depot. and I had to trade like 300 things of wood, 100 things of tools, 100 things of logs, and like 10 coats in order to get seeds. Because he wasn't. I have plenty of like food, of like roots and gathering food items and fish, but he wasn't willing to trade for that. There's only certain items that the trader is willing to give up, like is willing to trade in order for seeds, and unfortunately, they're kind of the more expensive products. And the more labor-intensive products, I'll say too. So as I noticed that it was almost impossible to afford seeds, I expanded my industry out across the river. As you can see, there's 4 houses right here, another little stockpile, and I have a forester's hut, so I can have a surplus of firewood, which is a decent trade commodity, and I built another hunting cabin because not only does the deer raw material provide you with, I guess, venison meat. I think it's venison, right? Yeah, venison meat, which is a source of protein. But it also provides you with leather, which the tailor can then make into hide coats, which are one of the better trade commodities. Yeah, 15 value. So I mean, it's even more than the iron tools. Yeah, so I guess now that we have that kind of like intro down pat, I'm gonna go ahead and jump right in and continue gameplay. I don't have the herbalist doing anything right now because I just have herbs out the ass. I have another herbs. I have another 100 herbs I think in here. Yeah, I have another 100 herbs in the trading market too. So I have nobody working the herb counter. It just seems like nobody's been using them because there's plenty of food and my health is pretty high. Most citizens have the 4 to 4.5 ranking on health, and most of my citizens are pretty satisfied. Yeah, 5 stars. That's pretty good. 3.5. That's not really that good. As a fisherman, he doesn't really have that far of a walk to the old fishing hole. One thing I did notice, though, and a big problem I ran into, is I've kind of stripped this main area that I live in of a lot of its natural resources, especially stone and iron. I'm actually noticing now that there's a few deposits left over here. But I've been kind of focusing on getting my raw materials now from over here. There's a pretty big iron deposit over here that I've almost depleted. There's a ton of stone up north up here. So one thing I've noticed is that some of my laborers still live in town and they just have a very excruciating walk to natural resources and doing their job, which I think may diminish health, and it also lowers productivity because let's say they walk all the way out here, they chisel down a stone, and they get back here, and by that time in the winter they may want to go back home or they may want to go back home for lunch. And it just lowers the general productivity of each citizen. The further you have to go to work, the less productive you are. That's kind of why I built this little kind of town off, this other little kind of village over across the river, so that the forester and the hunter could have somewhere to live. And I think a few of my laborers live out here. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. So, one more thing I did notice is that this house has a lot of people living in it. But I guess it's pretty much a family. Wow, these guys are old. That must have been one of the first houses I made. See, something like this, Esto. He's 24. I could probably build another house right next door, and he would start another family because he's the blacksmith. But I'm gonna hold off on that. So let's hop back in. I generally play on 2-speed, and I'll speed it up. Especially in the wintertime, I'll play on 5-speed a lot because I don't like to do too much in the winter. I kind of just like things to run smoothly. I try not to like build anything new in the winter because being outside and in the elements is a danger to my citizens. Right now I'm going to lower it back down to 1 because, like I said, I finally got seed. where is it? So I'm actually going to be able to build my first farmland, which I'm going to build over here. I kind of had this predetermined. 15 by 15. I think 15 by 15 is the biggest we can go. Let's see if we can go one more over. I kind of would like, I think I'm going to make this little peninsula over here kind of like my primary farmland. And I think eventually that deer hunter is probably going to get demolished. Come on, I'm trying to make this as big as I can. Yeah, there we go, 15 by 15. And I'm going to have probably a road kind of coming down this way and going this way eventually. But for now, I'm just going to have this sole, you know, crop field out over here. And I'll probably build another home somewhere over here. Because the other thing is because I have so much industry that I don't have many laborers. And the best thing about laborers is they really strip the land for you. We gotta make that. And bring in your natural resources. And the one thing I've been doing is really pumping out tools because of how valuable they are when it comes to trading. Because eventually I want to be able to get a more and more seeds to make more and more farmland, etc., etc. You know, I want to be able to build a tavern eventually, and to build a tavern you probably need, wheat? I don't know. Something to brew beer with. Wheat, yeah, you brew beer with wheat, so. Yeah, what's going on here? Firewood is low. The one thing though is I am kind of starting to strain all of my resources. Especially, well, no, I guess my food has jumped up since that second fisherman's hut. My food was kind of getting down to like 100, 50 region. But then when you like click on people's houses, they have like usually like a ton of food in their house. Yeah. So I mean, it's whenever like something like this pops up, it's really just a matter of like how much you have in your barn for the most part. So food was kind of becoming a problem. Firewood shouldn't really be a problem. I mean, I set the limit to 300 because like I was just tons of firewood, dude. It was just I had no logs to build anything. It was getting ridiculous. So that's something you want to keep in mind, is setting a limit. And I guess I'll show you how to do that real quick. Right up here in the taskbar, I'll just show you. That's to show you how much you produce with each of your industries. Center it, and the fuel limit up and down right here, and you can even put in a custom amount, and I think this will jump up like by 20. But right now I need to check out my workers or my builders. Brina is working. Yeah, I don't know where she's going right now. This is kind of something I've noticed with this game, is that every once in a while your workers will like not really be working. Like look at this person picking up resources. Like there's no reason to be all the way out here. So right now, here's another little thing. This is called the strip, or the removal and destruction tool, and basically you can assign your laborers to strip out certain items. Like this is like remove all resources, and what this would do is completely strip this land to nothing. But you could focus on certain commodities like trees, rocks, and iron. And I had noticed that there was a bunch of iron out here, so I kind of went for it. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cancel that. Because what I noticed that happens is I always switch out the workforce. So when I'm not building anything, I make all my builders laborers. Or with my like tailor, I don't always have enough leather to make the coats. So when there's no leather, I'll fire her as a tailor, and she can become a laborer. He or she can become a laborer. Basically, because I only have 37 people, I just always want people to be working on something. Now, the one thing I'm a little pissed about is that the trader comes in late autumn, and I had a big dilemma about where I wanted to put my crop. I was originally going to put it right here where these trees are. Whoa, dude. That was pretty random. But, yeah, let's go ahead and put that back up to 5. I was going to put my crop right here, but I think I'm going to leave this kind of big area for, you know, a church and a town hall and, like, other civic development. I think eventually I'm going to have my town expand kind of this way and this way. I would like to expand all the way to the river. I would like to have like a nice like rectangular town. You know, I've been trying to keep it neat. I'm gonna admit I'm not like the greatest at like making these perfect grids. You know, look at right here. You have kind of a little zigzag line. But from what ooh, what's that? The reserve of firewood is low. That's fine. I guess because it was just after winter that the firewood was low. People don't use as much firewood in the spring and the summer and the autumn. But like I was saying, I had a bit of a dilemma. I got my seeds in the late autumn, and I was really like just letting the time go by and trying to figure out where I wanted to put my crops. You know, I was gonna kind of put my crops over here too. But I really think I'm going to try to focus this whole area for like industry. I think eventually maybe I'll put a mine over here and like my quarry, you know, over here where there's really no trees already. And I'm kind of going to, like I said, use this peninsula and like this little area right here as like my primary farmland. What was I getting at? So because I got my seeds in late autumn and I just put down the field, I don't think I'm gonna get a crop going this year because they plant the seeds in the spring, and we didn't get the field cleared early enough, which is kind of a bummer. But what are you gonna do? At least I'll have. I mean, like I said, food isn't really that big of a problem, so at least I'll just have my first jump into agriculture, you know. Let's see how these builders are doing. Pretty happy. Not too healthy. My health has been slowly dropping, and I don't know why. I think a big part of that is because I don't really have a variety of food. We're mostly eating meat at this point because I have 2 hunting lodges because of the leather I really want to get, and I have 2 fisheries, and I only have 1 gatherer. So fruit isn't really, or fruits and veggies aren't really a big part of the diet. Roots, cherries. Oh yeah, I forgot. I bought some cherries just to kind of mix it up. They're only $1 a piece, so I bought 100. You know, I had kind of extra stuff. But as you can see, fruit isn't really a part of our diet. And I think that's what's leading to like the drop in health for everybody. Which is why, you know, this field is so important. Basically, once we get rid of all them trees, like I'll probably build a road. I don't know. The computer does do a fair job at staying on the road, but it's kind of only when they're directed to stay on the road. Like, the only way to get out to the forester is through the road. You wouldn't, you know, trek through the woods, really. But if there's no houses or items to really, or like thick woods to block them, the computer or your citizens will kind of walk on distorted paths. You see? They're both walking to the crops, but they're kind of not on a solid line. So I'm going to hold off maybe on building roads for a while. But I think eventually I'll probably have a nice river road leading this way, you know, along the riverbank, kind of moseying back into town. But that'll come with time. And now that our field is cropped, I think I'm going to go ahead and save and sign off. And this will be the first video for Grillotown by Holland220. I hope you guys enjoy it, and, you know, give me a look-see, and keep watching. Thank you.